Ay. All right. And I'm not really thanking you subscribers, am I? No, 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 no. I got sidetracked. It's so easy for me to get sidetracked. I've talked about Gladys Kravitz. Oh, Sebastian Cabot subbed to me. Oh, what a wonderful, brings back such memories of Family Affair. What a cheesy show that was, wasn't it? Uncle Bill, Uncle Bill. I'm waiting for an Uncle Bill channel. In order to keep me honest, in case some of the messes I get in, and so nobody can accuse me of anything, I have a policy, and I'll say it again, I do not create sock accounts. I only have 2 accounts. Whoops. Something stuck on my hand here. The Royal Order of the Fez and citizenkong. And you can clearly tell the Royal Order of the Fez is me, because I'm all over it. And so I'm not trying to hide anything. But I am envious of my friends on YouTube that create these wonderful, wonderful sock accounts. I get a kick out of it. It's just like a fancy dress ball where people are wearing their disguises and the mystery and the romance of who is this person? Who the hell is insulting me? Oh, yeah, I got an email. Somebody suggests I could go through my emails, but what a pain in the butt. I want to welcome my latest subscriber by looking through my emails. Tyre Leon. And this person is 16 years old, lives in Canada, name is Samuel, and oh God, he's got the picture of the most beautiful woman on his background. And I mean, it's very chaste, it's not, nasty or anything, it's just gorgeous. And he's got a lot of favorites. Oh, looks like he's a friend of Stodl's, apparently. Yeah, Stodl's, I know you watch Citizenkong, but I tell you, sometimes you give me a lot of grief. That whole bell curve nonsense, and the superiority of the races and things like that. I don't want to go there. All right, it's just, what's the point? But Stodl's, yeah, I like you despite your controversial lifestyle. But I'm a liberal. I'm open to that. I don't know why you try to hang out with these crazy right wingers. They don't like you. They don't like you like we do. Oh my. All right, where am I? 12-step guru, boss pork chops. Hey, my boss, I always like him. Did I talk about Delphic Gobshite? This woman can really write some great comments. I think she's a friend of Whirlpool's End, and we had an exchange going back there. But I left one exchange and she didn't reply, so we just let it end at that. But she is quite creative with the comments. And if you go to Delphic Gobshite's channel, she's got a wonderful, wonderful backdrop, and she's the icon of good old Jane Fonda as Barbarella. That's a sexy, sexy outfit that Barbarella had on. I want to thank T4705MB6. Now, that's a hell of a screen name. Should I read that again? T4705MB6 for sending me a video on the CFR. All right, once again, what's the CFR? The CFR stands for the Council on Foreign Relations. This is way too complicated for me, but I know this has come up before. Somebody pointed out that Obama was a member of CFR, that Ron Paul is not. And I'm trying to skim it, and he sent me a very nice video on what CFR was mainly pertaining to media. And that is very scary. I agree with the spirit of that video, that the media is in the hands of too few people. That is why I am an advocate of bringing back the fairness doctrine as one of the many things that we need to do to put the media back in the hands of the people and rip it away from for-profit organizations. That's one of my little pet things, the fairness doctrine and breaking up the media monopolies. I think that's very, very important. At one point, this country understood that. Franklin Delano Roosevelt was one of those people that understood that, and if Teddy Roosevelt was around when the media was empires were being built, he would have understood that. And in fact, I think he might have had something to do with breaking up Randolph Hearst. Correct me if I'm wrong. But the idea of controlling a certain number of newspapers in order to control policy is a very scary thing. And if CFR is playing a role in this, I would say that somebody needs to regulate CFR. But to try to paint the Council of Foreign Relations as the bogeyman that it is, I can't agree 100% on that, because when you look at the list of its members and you look at its history, there are a lot of times when people from different factions were butting heads. Now, you could buy into the conspiracy theory that it's all just an act, that seriously it's a charade that they're putting, or a charade they're putting on for the benefit of the common man, to make it look like they're nonpartisan and they're fair. But you've got opposites that are members of CFR. You've got George Soros. You've got Rupert Murdoch. You've got Bill Moyers. Who I have much respect for Bill Moyers. So it's hard for me to really get on board and see them as the evil organization that some people try to paint them. And I know that some of you are going to say, "Oh yeah, you're a sheeple. You're letting the wool get pulled over your eyes." But I'm just trying to look at this with open eyes, and I try to look for red flags. And one of the early critics of the CFR, the Council of Foreign Relationships, was the John Birch Society. And there's all kinds of nasty stuff that's attached to the John Birch Society. And I could see in theory that many of ideas that the John Birch Society is for is noble and good. And Ron Paul, I think, is a John Bircher, if I'm not mistaken, or at least a politician that follows a very strict John Birch style policy, platform. But John Birchers, man, I mean, it just, as far as popular culture, it's just, it's just bad. I was looking here on Wikipedia, and I was being reminded, as a child that grew up in the 60s, of all the bad stigma attached to John Birchers. And where is that? And I know this is like an ill-prepared way, but this is Fez night. We fly by the seat of our pants, and the Charlie Daniels wrote this great song that I remember was played on the radio when I was a kid, and I'll find it here any minute. And it was about this guy. It was called Uneasy Rider, and he mentions the John Birch Society in there, and even like a redneck of like Charlie Daniels is making fun of the John Birch Society. Oh, I'll have to Google it right here. I can't find that link. John Birch. So if this whole, and I understand the whole, New World Order and the fear of that, and that bothers me too, especially as a kid who grew up in a Pentecostal church. The idea of one world government, yes, that's the end times, that's the Antichrist, that's all that kind of stuff. And the idea of the Illuminati, I can understand how that upsets people.